morning, friends and family. John Miller, your Lake Stevens Realtor, coming at you on Monday, June 28th of 2021. A hot one. We've had a real heat wave here in the Northwest. Temperatures near 100 degrees, and it's really miserable for a lot of folks. So wherever you are, stay cool, stay healthy, take cool showers, whatever you need to do. There's a lot of posts on our local social media platforms, people asking for air conditioners. People have ordered them and that they're weeks out. And yeah, they're miserable. I know a lot of people are just having a hard time sleeping. Today's going to be it's going to be the hottest day of the 3 days that we're having of this heat wave. And then they say after tonight it'll start to cool down a bit. Anyway, but yeah, stay safe. This is the heat is just really bad. So let's see here. On that note, I do get questions from folks. I had a lot of relocation clients, a lot of folks who move up from some of the southern states, California, Arizona, New Mexico, ask, gosh, I'm looking at your listings. I don't see any information about air conditioning. And it's a good point. There are fields in our listings that do have air conditioning. There are just so few homes that have a dedicated air conditioner. I've seen them. They're so infrequent. I can probably count on one hand the number of times I've seen them in 17 years of selling real estate. What is more popular in the Northwest is what's called a heat pump, and that is a unit that sits outside the home as opposed to sitting on the roof. And it ties directly into your forced air system, and it works for heating and for cooling, and that is very popular here in the Northwest. I see a lot of those. You can do a search for that. Is also a field that you can do a search by. There are smaller split AC units, which is kind of a poor man's air conditioner. It's usually sits above a door, and they do work. I've been in houses that have them, and it does keep that room reasonably cool. Days like today, I've got a room air conditioner, and it works. And boy, it was working hard. Yesterday afternoon. I mean, my room was noticeably cooler. Just wow, it was just really hot outside. Inside of my house, I think yesterday afternoon was 92 degrees, and my room was significantly cooler. Anyway, so again, stay safe, healthy, and cool. The question today comes out of Lake Stevens, Washington. The question is, what exactly is an HOA? We hear them, we talk about them. A lot of people have very strong opinions about HOAs. A homeowners association is a corporation made up of the homeowners in a particular neighborhood or development, or whatever you want to call it. And their goal, virtually all of them, is to help those people maintain their property values. And they do that in a few different ways. They do it primarily through rules and regs. They keep a very level playing field with what you can and can't do in your neighborhood. And that being said, there's a lot of things they address, and there's a lot of things they don't address. And every HOA is different. Some are much more stringent than others. Anything from what color you can paint your house. A lot of people say, well, that's my business. My house, I should be able to paint it whatever I want. And most people don't have any problem with the color you're going to paint your house. There's always one guy that wants to paint it flat black or something just crazy, purple or something, and that's not going to look very cool in your neighborhood. So, I want to put up, if you wanted to put up fencing. Many times there's restrictions. Yeah, you can put up fencing, but it's got to be the standard 6 foot cedar we have here in the Northwest, and it's got to match this design. A lot of people, gosh, I could do a cyclone fence a little, cheaper. Well, unfortunately, you're gonna have to go with a 6 foot cedar. They can address a number of things: overnight parking, RV parking, a bunch of other things. There is a board of directors. They sometimes have an architectural review board and maybe some other committees that address these issues and help enforce them. They're subject to elections. They have a budget. If you're a homeowner, you can attend the meetings, you can vote, you can run for the board. You can be as active or as passive as you want. What it really comes down to is the enforcement of the rules and regs. If you're purchasing a property, by the way, you have a chance to review all of that information, meeting minutes, all the information, the budget, and the rules and regs of the HOA before you proceed with that transaction. And I encourage you to do it because you're going to be dealing with that HOA. I mean, the transaction between buyer and seller lasts 30 days, and then you walk away. If you're moving in a place with an HOA, you're married to it. You better be happy with them, and they better be happy with you if you're going to be moving forward. If you've got something you want to do very differently with your home that might be in conflict with the rules and regs, that's going to be a problem pretty quickly. Bottom line is all the things that they regulate, the rules and regs, it's a question of enforcement. And I'll give you an example. The neighborhood that I live in has restrictions on RVs being parked in the street. They can't be there, I think, more than 24 hours, 48 hours or something like that. Well, I can tell you in the summer months, there are 3 on my street alone that will sit there pretty much June through September, and or June through August, pretty much 3 months in a, there for 3 months and they don't move, and nobody seems to complain. Nobody cares. So the problem then becomes, at some point somebody might want to enforce that. Say, hey, you're not supposed to park there. There'll be, it's possible you get a fine, or you get a usually you just get a letter in the mail, and if you ignore it, there might be a fine, and at some point there might be some legal action. But in that case, that hypothetical situation, if a judge was to rule on that, they'd say, look, you haven't enforced these rules consistently, so I'm not going to start now. And so that rule tends to go away if they're not enforced, blanket enforcement, as it were. So anyway, those are, I have a lot of clients. Some of obviously, if you had a bad experience with an HOA, I've heard it many times. I will not live in a neighborhood. I want to buy a house, but I will not live in a neighborhood with any kind of HOA. And that can be frustrating. I understand the feelings on that. I totally get that. Some people don't care. Then again, there's HOAs that vary. I have for instance, my HOA in my neighborhood, I have very little interaction with. I pay them once a year. I think I get a letter in the mail, just in kind of a newsletter with all the things they're going to do. And they're usually not much. It's, here's a couple projects we're going to work on this year, and they're fairly minor. And okay, that's what my dues are going for. Okay, big deal. Others are way more stringent, and usually end up having problems with lawsuits and things like that. Anyway, if you have any questions regarding HOAs and all the ins and outs of those, give me a call. I will try to answer those. 30-year fixed rate mortgage, 3.02%. Again, fantastic time to purchase with the low rates. If we can find a house for you that's in your price range, it is, and you've got a good cash position, it's a great time to get a mortgage. So. Good time to refi too if you're looking to do that, because I think the rates are going to be going up here over the next few months. Okay, anyway, wherever you are, stay safe, healthy, and cool. Take those cool showers if you need to. Those really do help. And we'll see you next week.